Yo, stop scrolling. New pandemic just dropped, baby. Let's go. So the Canadian government has issued an urgent travel warning due to an explosive infection outbreak. Cyclosporiasis, a gastrointestinal illness caused by parasites. Hey. It is explosive diarrhea. Oh, look at that. I nailed it. God, I'm so fucking good at this. I don't even know.
Should you be worried about the diarrhea outbreak in the United States spreading to Canada? You may be aware that several U.S. states have been hit hard by a stomach illness, especially Michigan. Cyclosporiasis has sickened thousands of Americans and sent dozens to hospital. It's caused by a tiny parasite that's naked to the human eye that contaminates soil and crops. And then when humans eat those contaminated products, those fruits and veggies, they can become ill. Think your favorite salad mixes, fresh berries, and lettuce. Now, it's more common in places like Latin and South America, which export lots of produce to the US and Canada. Canada so far has managed to avoid an outbreak of its own, but that doesn't mean we're out of the woods just yet. It is now known that lettuce from Mexico served at Taco Bell locations across the United States has been confirmed as a source of the outbreak, but it is unclear at this time if Canada has received the same product. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency said it is not considering restricting produce imports from the United States. Now, I did speak to an expert this week that provided some practical guidance on how to protect yourselves. She said you don't have to stop eating fruits and vegetables, but what you should be doing is washing them thoroughly. When it comes to lettuce, she recommends taking off those outside layers and then washing the leaves individually. She said no lettuce is really safe lettuce though, so even if it's a bag of pre-washed lettuce, she recommended washing it again. This doesn't eliminate the risk entirely, but it does reduce it.
Okay, so I need you to hear me out on this one, because when I first saw the headline, I honestly thought, there is no way this is real. There is a parasite outbreak causing something that nobody wants to experience, severe diarrhea. And yes, unfortunately, the internet has already given it the nickname you're probably thinking of right now, but jokes aside, this is actually a real health issue. Thousands of people in the United States have been infected with something called Cyclospora, a tiny parasite that can get into food and make people extremely sick. And because Canada and the US are basically neighbors, like literally sharing the world's longest border, the big question many Canadians are asking is, should we be worried? In this video, we're going to talk about what happened, how people are getting infected, what's happening here in Canada, and the simple things you can do to protect yourself. So if you like breaking down important stories without all the panic and drama, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and let's get into it.
Hey, Kamal, talk to us about the warning.
Sandy, the good news is we aren't seeing any outbreaks in Canada, but it's still a major concern for those traveling to the United States with cases hitting a record high. Canada's travel advisory website now warning of the surge of cyclosporiasis in the U.S., the intestinal illness that causes frequent watery diarrhea, advising Canadians to thoroughly wash fresh fruits and vegetables. Outbreaks have been reported primarily in 5 states, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, and West Virginia, with the largest number of cases in Michigan. Symptoms can also include fatigue, nausea, and mild fever. The spread of the illness resulted in the recall of iceberg lettuce from central Mexico. So far, the number of confirmed cases sits at just over 4,000, with questions still remaining about the source of the spread. Symptoms can take as long as 2 weeks to appear and can last as long as 7 weeks.
Yeah, so Canadians should be aware but not alarmed, right? And the whole purpose of the notice that's been put out by Public Health Agency is that this is to alert travelers that may be going to countries like the U.S. The purpose is not to discourage travel, and it is not to discourage the healthy consumption of fruits and vegetables. It's to help people reduce avoidable exposure. So in this case, through food and water vigilance, and to recognize symptoms that may require medical attention.
So Canadians, tell me, what are you doing with your Taylor Farms egg salads? Are you tossing them, or are you going to take a chance and have them? I'm not sure if I want to take a chance or not, but what are you doing with yours?
Hey guys, if you aren't already buying Canadian, now might be a good time to start. If you didn't know, Doge and the Trump administration sort of gutted their food inspection down there. So they don't really know where the cyclosporiasis outbreak is even coming from. So, yeah, it's summer. All of our shit grows right now. What the hell are you doing buying U.S. food?
Hey guys, it's Dr. A. I'm going to talk a bit about the Cyclospora outbreak and if I need to be worried in Canada. I'm a pediatrician, I have a 10-month-old baby, I'm obviously pregnant, so there's many reasons that I really don't want to have explosive diarrhea. Fortunately, as of now, there has not been any outbreak in Canada. Right now, there's no restrictions on eating in Canada. However, I'm gonna be real. I'm not waiting for the disclaimer to have to deal with this. We got a lot of stuff from the USA. We're pretty close. So this is what I'm doing just to be extra precautionary. Once again, not necessary. But I just don't want to experience explosive diarrhea right now or have my baby have it. What I've been doing differently, so higher risk foods are things like raspberries, blackberries, lettuce. For my daughter who loves raspberries and blackberries, I've been actually two things. If you're going to do it raw, you can't just soak it. You actually have to wash it really well. But I've also just added this extra layer where right now I'm cooking them. Most of the time I add her fruits and stuff to like yogurt and things. So I'm just heating them up. They're turning into a puree, and cooking them really kills that parasite. Then I still add it to her yogurt and she's good. Me personally, I'm not eating lettuce. Just not needing it for the next couple weeks. Just until this whole thing dies down. I just feel like I'm not taking the risk. My husband is still eating it, so we just wash it thoroughly. It's soaking doesn't count. You gotta wash it. Those are some minor things that I'm doing and changed just until this whole thing kind of comes down. And I really hope Canada doesn't get this explosive diarrhea.
So here's where things get interesting. Cyclospora is not a virus. It's actually a microscopic parasite, which means you can't see it, smell it, or know it's sitting there just by looking at your food. And that's what makes this situation tricky. The parasite can contaminate fresh produce like lettuce, berries, and salad mixes, especially when food comes into contact with water contaminated by infected human waste. Yeah, I know. Suddenly, that innocent salad in your fridge is looking at you a little differently. In the United States, thousands of cases have been reported, with Michigan seeing a huge increase. Some people have even ended up in hospitals because of how severe the symptoms can become. People who experienced it described weeks of stomach problems, exhaustion, and feeling like their body was just completely drained. So the big question is, what does this mean for Canadians? Well, that's where things get a little more complicated.
Y'all, I got this fucking Cyclops parasite or whatever the fuck it's called. I tell you, I've been shitting for 2 goddamn fucking weeks straight. Just fucking straight pissing out my fucking ass. It's fucking terrible. I'm at a fucking client's house right now, which is why I'm whispering. I've been here for just over an hour. It's the 3rd goddamn time I've been in this fucking bathroom fucking shit. I swear to God, this is the worst fucking shit ever. I thought I had the fucking flu at first till I heard about this fucking Cyclops parasite. Just fucking shitting and drinking water for 2 goddamn fucking weeks. I swear to God, I'm gonna be down to 200 fucking pounds by the time this shit's over. Fucking 0 out of 10. Do not fucking recommend. Clean y'all's fucking fresh produce. This is fucking horrible. Goddamn.
I've had the explosive parasite for basically the last month. Let's talk about it. I keep seeing people make jokes being like, oh, give me the lettuce. I'm trying to drop 10 pounds. Trust me, I'm always down to lose 10 pounds, but that was not the worst part of this. The fever and the chills and the sore legs that I had was the worst part without a doubt. Basically on Tuesday, about a month ago, I went to my husband. I was like, I'm really feeling kind of weird. He was like, oh, have you eaten today? Have you drank enough water? Of course, the classic stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I should get a good night's sleep. I fell asleep at like 10 o'clock. I woke up at 2 a.m. dripping in sweat. I have never had a fever like this. My legs hurt so bad. I was kicking all night. It was absolutely miserable. So I think, oh, maybe I have the flu or something. I don't know what's going on. And then the diarrhea hit. And I tell y'all, for probably 2 solid weeks, I could not even hold down water, Powerade, or anything. The only thing that I was able to semi-hold down that kind of worked was like a slushie, so like a frozen drink. I was going to McDonald's and getting like the frozen Dr. Pepper, or like the local corner store that has little slushie machines, and I would put them in my Stanley with like this much ice, and I would just slowly sip on that slushie for like a week. I'm someone who, TMI, I don't go to the restroom very often. When I tell y'all, anytime take a sip, it could be this much water I was drinking, immediately had to sprint to the bathroom. It was horrible. And I'm also someone who suffers from really bad migraines. I have chronic migraines. So whenever I'm dehydrated and I can't sleep, what does that lead to? Awful migraines. I'm pretty sure I got mine from one of the small bags of Taylor Farms lettuce because that's what I always buy. I do not wish this on anyone. It has been almost a month and I still am not like normal. Like I am not back to normal, if you know what I mean. I fear I may just be living with this parasite forever.
Guys, what is happening? What is happening? Bro, tell me how within the span of July, I've had Cyclospora, which I still have. So that's great. Loving that, waiting for that to clear up. It's been almost 2 weeks. Then I was in the Celsius and Clear shooting, and I was like, oh, so not only do I have to worry about not shit my pants, but also I have to worry about not getting shot. Then the smoke thing, like that's happening right now because of the wildfires too, which, oh my God. And I have asthma, so I'm like, that's great, okay. All right, I'll stay inside. The one day I decide, let me like do something, tornado warning, so I can't see my friend. So I'm like, is this a sign? Like, is this a sign I should just stay home for the rest of summer? I don't know, guys.
Alberta health officials are investigating 7 confirmed cases of a nasty parasitic infection. It's called cyclosporiasis. It's the same illness sweeping through the United States. Federal health officials have identified iceberg lettuce from Mexico served by Taco Bell locations across 5 U.S. states as a source of the widespread outbreak. It spreads through food and water contaminated with feces from an infected person. It causes miserable bouts of cramping and explosive diarrhea. The province says 7 people developed symptoms and tested positive since the beginning of May. None involved traveled to the U.S., but 6 of them had recently traveled to Mexico. In a statement, the Ministry of Primary and Preventative Health Services said, while Alberta cases are being assessed against the Cyclospora outbreak under investigation in the United States, no connections have been identified to date, and investigators have not identified a common food source or food establishment associated with the Alberta cases. One doctor says Quebec has also had an increase in cases, mostly related to travel to Mexico.
They've had kind of a crazy weather year with a lot of storms, and we know that kind of circumstances can let essentially human sanitation kind of get washed into agricultural water.
A University of Alberta microbiologist says grocery shoppers north of the border should be selective.
I don't think there is good data, but buying Canadian can help. In most of Canada, human-to-human transmission of parasites and other pathogens is prevented by wastewater treatment.
So for now, the best bet to avoid the bug, wash your hands and buy local produce.
So after hearing all of this, should Canadians panic and start throwing every vegetable in their fridge into the garbage? Honestly, no. And health officials are saying the same thing. Right now, Canada has not seen an outbreak like the one happening in parts of the United States. However, there have been cases reported, and many of them have been connected to international travel, including travel to places like Mexico. Officials are still investigating and trying to understand whether Canadian cases are connected to the U.S. outbreak or if they are separate. The good news is that this is not a situation where people need to stop eating fruits and vegetables. In fact, experts are saying fruits and vegetables are still an important part of a healthy diet. But this is a good reminder to be smarter about food safety. Wash your hands before preparing food. Wash fresh produce carefully. And when it comes to things like lettuce, experts recommend removing the outer leaves and washing individual leaves properly, even if the package says it's already washed. And if you're traveling, especially somewhere where food and water safety standards may be different, just be a little more careful about what you're eating and drinking. Because the reality is, food moves around the world every single day. Something that happens hundreds or thousands of kilometers away can eventually become something health officials here have to monitor. But being informed doesn't mean being afraid. It just means paying attention and making smart choices. Now, I want to hear from you. After hearing about this outbreak, are you changing the way you prepare your fruits and vegetables? Are you still eating salads like normal? Or are you being a little more cautious? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to know. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.